Greetings, my name is Kerry and this is Kerry Louise Reads. Today I am bringing you the next in my TBR lists. Now I realise at this point we are 2/3 of the way through the year and I'd intended to film all these videos right at the start of the year and I'd intended to be making much more progress with these lists than I actually have. My end of year stats and goal wrap up is going to be interesting because basically all the goals went out the window a little bit as my health wasn't great. But never mind, we're going to persevere. This is a list of 20 books that I have been given at some point in recent years and haven't got around to reading yet. So I thought I'd make a list of some of them. There are lots more. I have a spreadsheet that I think details pretty much all of them that since I started using Goodreads, I was given since then. And so I just thought I'd pick 20 off the list and then I could try to read them all this year. At this point, it's not looking likely that I will get through all of these books, but never mind. So there are 20 books on this list. I haven't actually read any of them yet. I have read 2 other books that were given to me that weren't on the list, but that's beside the point essentially because they're not on the list. But never mind, without further ado, I'm just going to go into the books. They're not in any particular order. I think the majority of them were ones that I was given for birthdays or Christmas by friends or family, and then there's a couple towards the end that were just kind of general gifts for no particular reason, like either in 2020 when we were all in lockdown there was a lot of like buying stuff for people off their Amazon wish lists. So a couple of them are from that, and then a couple were just friends of saying, I'm getting rid of this book, do you want it? But most of them were given for Christmas or birthday by family or friends. So without further ado, I'm just going to get into them. So the first book on the list is Trevaryan by Angela du Maurier. So she is the sister of Daphne du Maurier, who is one of my all-time favourite authors. My parents gave me this for my birthday a few years ago when they'd been to Jamaica Inn, which is obviously the setting for one of Daphne du Maurier's books, and they hadn't known and I hadn't known that she had a sister who was also an author. They thought I might like this because I love Daphne du Maurier. I've had it for a few years, clearly haven't picked it up yet, but I am interested to read it to see what I think because I love Daphne du Maurier, so hopefully I'll like her sister too. The second book on the list is Barnaby, Rudge and the Uncommercial Traveller by Charles Dickens. This is from Complete Works of Dickens set that I was kind of given for my birthday a couple of years ago. Essentially, my nan gave me some money and I used it to buy a Complete Works of Dickens, but we class it as a gift from my nan because it's the sort of thing that she would have bought me. This one has made it onto the list because Barnaby Rudge is actually also on the oldest books on my TBR list, but a different edition of it. But that edition is in storage and is older and is more fragile, so I was going to read this edition for it anyway, so I thought I might as well put it on the list, and that will encourage me to read the whole book, to read The Uncommercial Traveller as well. I'm not reading a lot of classics at the moment, and a lot of the books on my oldest on my TBR list are classics, so I don't know how soon I will get to this, but yeah, I want to try and read it this year. I don't know if that will actually happen or not. Some of the other books on this list will probably be a little bit easier to read than this one. Next was one that was given to me for my birthday last year by my friend Justine from I Should Read That. She's one of my Space Sirens co-hosts. This is a retelling of the fairy tale The 12 Dancing Princesses, which was one of my favourite fairy tales when I was younger. And actually it was Justine I first heard talking about this book, and I put it on my wish list based on her recommendation, and then she bought it for me for my birthday, so thank you, Justine. I haven't picked it up yet, clearly. I'm looking forward to reading it. It's high on my list to get to. And actually another friend has lent me another book by Erin A. Craig, so I'm really keen to read this one and that other one that I've been lent. Next we have another book that was given me for my birthday last year from Amber from Books of Amber. This is Natives by Akala. I had a number of books on my wish list relating to concepts of racism and white supremacy following the growth of the Black Lives Matter movement recently. This is one I'd heard really good things about, so I'm really excited to pick it up at some point, and I'm really grateful to Amber for buying it for me. I am looking forward to seeing what I think of this and learning more about this issue, and it's been blurbed by David Olusoga, who's a brilliant historian, so I'm really looking forward to reading that. Next we have a book by one of my all-time favourite authors. This one was got for me by my friend Kayla, another of my Space Sirens friends. Her channel is Crackin' to a Good Book. This is Green Rising by Lauren James. Lauren James is one of my favourite authors. She writes YA sci sci-fi kind of. And actually Kayla and I keep trading Lauren James books, so I think I've bought her a couple of Lauren James books for her birthdays. So this is her latest book, I think. It's around the concept of climate change and saving the planet. I've liked pretty much everything I've read by Lauren James, so I'm really excited to pick this one up, and a bit cross at myself that I haven't got to some of these books yet, because I mean they're ones that I've really wanted, most of them, so yeah. Anyway, looking forward to picking this one up. I feel like it might be quite an autumnal one, so maybe I'll get to it in the autumn, who knows. Next we have another one that was given to me for my birthday last year. This one was from my friend Leckie, who blogs at Books and Lemon Squash. She's also in Space Sirens. Shout out to all my Space Sirens today. So this is Loveless by Alice Oseman. I actually haven't read any Alice Oseman yet, and she features again later on this list. This one I wanted to read because the protagonist is asexual, and I'm on the A spectrum, so I was really keen to see how that was represented. Yeah, I don't know too much about it other than that. I've heard mostly good things about it. I'm really keen to see what Alice Oseman is like as an author, and yeah, looking forward to reading this soon, hopefully. Next one I think is the final one that I got for my birthday last year that's on this list. So this was given to me by my friend Penny. This is Lies Like Wildfire by Jennifer Lynn Alvarez. This is another YA contemporary, but I think with kind of thrillery aspects. I don't know much about it. I don't know much about the author, but Penny heard the concept and thought it might be something I'd like, and we have really similar taste in books. We generally enjoy quite similar things, and so if something's recommended by her, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it, unless it's horror, because she reads more horror than I do. I don't read horror at all. Looking forward to hopefully picking that one up at some point. As I say, I very much doubt that I'm going to get to all of these by the end of the year at this point, but we'll see. Then we have this book I was given in a Secret Santa, and I can't remember who by. It was a couple of years ago. It was like a BookTube Secret Santa. I said Alice that Osman was going to feature again. This is Radio Silence. This is one that I heard a lot about on BookTube a few years ago, and I wanted to read it because I feel like the protagonist is someone I'll really relate to. I honestly don't remember that much more about the concept, the synopsis. I tend to go into books not knowing much about them, but I've heard really good things about this one and about Alice Oseman as an author, so hopefully we'll get to both of these books by her. The next one on the list was another one I got for Christmas from a Secret Santa. This was specifically a Persephone book swap organised by Ninja Book Box. This is The Making of a Marchioness by Frances Hodgson Burnett. She's best known for writing The Secret Garden and Little Princess. This is one of her adult books. It's published by Persephone. They have really gorgeous end papers. I love Persephone books. Hopefully I'll enjoy this one. I don't really know much more about it, but looking forward to reading it. It's another kind of more classic, older style book, so one that I might not get to as soon. Then we have a book that my parents got me for Christmas one year. This is a non-fiction. It's called Hearts and Minds by Jane Robinson. It's about the suffragette movement, 1913, just before the First World War. Suffragists, sorry, not suffragettes, so the non-militant branch of the protests, and this looks at the Great Pilgrimage, which is a 6-week protest march. The whole suffragette and suffragist movement, how women won the vote, I find that also fascinating, so I will be picking this up soon when I have a gap in my reading schedule for non-fiction. Very much looking forward to reading that. Then we have another book that was given to me by my friend Penny a couple of years ago for birthday or for Christmas, I can't quite remember. This is The Familiars by Stacey Halls. It's a historical fiction. It's about the witch trials in 17th century Britain. I'm not sure if it's got magical elements to it or not. I'm sure I'll find out when I read it, but it sounds fascinating, and also I think this cover is just gorgeous. The witch trials is a period of British history that I find really fascinating, so really looking forward to picking this up at some point. Next we have another one that I was given for a BookTube Secret Santa. Again, I'm not sure who by. This is Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo. This obviously won the Booker Prize in 2019 and was shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction. I've heard really good things about this book and have been meaning to get to it for ages, and clearly haven't got to it yet. Yeah, high on my list to pick this up. It's another one actually I don't know a lot about it, just that loads of people have talked about it, and obviously it's been highly recommended in a number of prize listings, so yeah, looking forward to seeing what I think of that one. Next we have another book that my friend Justine got me. Hi Justine, thanks. We did a Space Siren, The Secret Santa, a couple of years ago. This was one she picked for me. This is Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. This one won the Women's Prize for Fiction. I've heard so many good things about this book. It's about Shakespeare and his son Hamnet, who dies during the plague in like late 16th century, and I think it's about how Shakespeare and his family cope with the loss of his son, but I think there's a lot more to it than that. But I've heard so many good things about this. Anything vaguely related to Shakespeare I love, so really keen to get to this one. The next one I'm actually currently reading, which is exciting. This one was given to me by my parents for Christmas a few years ago. I'm about a third of the way through it, but I read all that since last night, so very exciting. This is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is the second book she published. It's the third one of hers I read or am reading, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The protagonist, Emily, is a teenage mum, and all she wants to do is be a chef. She loves cooking, she loves experimenting with food, but she's balancing that with finishing high school and raising her daughter and worrying about her grandmother who has brought her up and trying to understand her relationship with her father who lives in Puerto Rico. It's really interesting insight into teenage mindset and just remembering what it was like to be a teenager, but with this added responsibility of having to look after a little person too. Really beautifully written, and Elizabeth Acevedo is a writer I really rate, so I'm looking forward to finishing this one soon because we can probably finish it in the next couple of days, hopefully. So then we have The Raven Tower by Anne Leckie. So we're now into the ones that were that let's buy each other stuff from our Amazon wishlist period of 2020. Anne Leckie is an author I really love. I've read all her sci-fi books. So she wrote the Imperial Rudge trilogy. I reread Ancillary Justice earlier this year, and I'm hopefully going to be rereading the rest of that series soon. This is her first fantasy book. I'm really interested to see how her writing translates into fantasy. I don't really know very much about what it's about, but I really love her writing, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how she writes fantasy. The next one was again from that buying each other stuff from our wish list time, and this is Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. So she wrote probably one of my all-time favourite books, The 13th Tale. I really need to reread it soon because I really loved it when I read it. This is historical fantasy, I think. It's about a young girl who is thought to be dead but isn't dead, and where she come from, and I don't really know, but I do love Diane Satterfield's writing, so I'm really intrigued. Again, it's got a really beautiful cover, so I'm really looking forward to picking this up. Then I've got a couple of books that various friends just gave me because either they had multiple copies or they just wanted to give me books randomly. So we have The Mask of Mirrors, which I think again came from Nikki from Books of Lemon Squash, if I remember rightly. This is by M.A. Carrick, which is the pen name of two authors. I can't remember who the two authors are though. It says on the back, Marie Brennan and Alec Helms. This is the first in a series. All of the Space Sirens that have read this book rave about it. The second book is out now as well. So I really feel like I've been sleeping on this one and I need to get on and read it. Particularly because Nikki gave it to me and because they all rave about these books so much. So hopefully it won't be too long before I get to this one, although it is one of the chunkier books on this list. Then we have another one that I actually think Justine gave me again. So this is Sistersong by Lucy Holland. Like, this is why I made this list though, because so many of my friends have given me so many books and they're so lovely to give me lots of books, and then I feel really guilty that I don't read them. So that's why I've done this list. The idea being it's meant to make me read the books, but it hasn't helped so far for various reasons, but never mind. We're gonna persevere anyway. So this is another historical fantasy set in Celtic Britain, I believe. Yeah, I think Justine had ended up with multiple copies of this, so she offered me this one. Again, I think the cover is quite pretty. Don't know too much about it, but I've heard really good things, so looking forward to hopefully reading this one soon, as I've said about every book on this list. We are nearly there. Penultimate book. This is The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Dare. This was given to me by my friend Ree. I don't know very much about it. It's set in Nigeria. It's about a young woman who is the third wife of her husband in a small village. She is learning to defy the expectations on her. Ree really raves about this book, so I'm really keen to read it, and that's why she loved it so much that she was just giving away copies to anyone that she could, and she gave one to me, which is very exciting. So hopefully we'll get to this one soon. And then the last book on the list, I slightly ummed and ahed about putting on the list, but actually of all of them, it's maybe the one I'm most likely to get to. We'll see. The reason I ummed and ahed is it's the second in a series, and I'll need to reread the first one. And at the point when I made the list, I didn't actually own the first one, but I do own it now. So this is Shorefall by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the second book in the Founders trilogy. The first one is called Foundryside. The third one has just come out this year. It's called Locklands, and I actually also own that one as well. So if I can get to this one, then although it's not actually on my series I want to finish list, it does help me towards a goal of finishing a series. I read Foundryside in 2020 and it was so detailed, I don't quite remember enough of the details to be able to pick this one up without rereading Foundryside, but I did get through Foundryside quite quickly. It was a buddy read and I remember actually racing through it and finding it really engaging. Really keen to reread Foundryside and then pick up this one and then hopefully finish this series. That is 20 books that were given to me at some point over the last couple of years that I have yet to read, that I feel guilty about having yet to read because people very kindly gave them to me, and I want to get better at reading the books that people give to me. These aren't all the books that have been given to me, they're just the 20 that I had the goal of trying to read this year. As I say, now 2/3 of the way through the year, I haven't finished any of the books on this list yet, so chances are I'm not going to get through all of them, but I'm willing to challenge myself to try and get through as many as possible in the last 4 months of the year. So let's see how we get on with that. Let me know if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them. Let me know if you have a similar problem to me of having lovely people give you books and then you don't manage to read them. Let me know what your favourite book that you've ever been given was, or if you just want to let me know that you've been here, you can leave me a food emoji because I'm currently reading With the Fire on High, which is about cooking. You can also like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also follow me on social media. All that information will be listed for you in the description box below. But that's it for today, so thank you so much for watching and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!